Welcome to a new video. In this video we are going to see the chain rule for differentiation and solve some problems. For the very beginning I have written here the chain rule. So just formally, how do we find the derivatives of composite functions? So chain rule is basically chain rule means differentiation of composite functions, and the formula is f of g of x prime is f primes g of x times g prime of x. Another way to approach this problem is to introduce change of variable, which actually is the chain rule. So if you put g of x equals t, then the formula becomes f prime of t times t prime, and if you return, then it will be f prime g of x times g prime of x. It is called chain rule because we are making a chain of derivatives. So we first make f prime and then we multiply it by g prime, where of course we note that f is like the starting function is the composite of f and g. So that's the very basic, very short formal theoretic background. And we want to see some solved problems here and present solutions. So solved problems. Okay, question 1. F of x equals 5x squared plus 3x and then to the power 3. We can notice here that f of x is a composite function. If you take h of x to be 5x squared plus 3x and g of x to be x cubed, then f of x is actually g of h of x, which is g of 5x squared plus 3x, and that is 5x squared plus 3x cubed. So I'm purposely doing this and unfolding, so I will just write, so unfolding the composition. Okay, that's the unfolding the composition. And how do we find the derivative? Well, we can just say, okay, let's find h prime, and we find g prime, and then we multiply them. So now g prime is 3x squared. So g prime of h is 3, 5x squared plus 3x and then squared. And h prime is 5x squared plus 3x, derivative of that is 5x squared derivative plus 3x derivative, and that is 10x plus 3. Now we have the formula here. So g prime of h of x times h prime of x. Now g prime, that is here, so that's equal to 3 5x squared plus 3x squared times in the brackets 10x plus 3. This is h. So this goes here and this goes here. Okay, question 2. Y equals cube root of 1 minus 9t. Of course, you can pause the video and try, and here is the solution. So answer. Now, we can write this a bit friendlier. Y equals 1 minus 9t to the power 1 over 3. And we can take 1 minus 9t to be some x, like a substitution. So that we have y of x equals x to the power 1 over 3. Now y is a composite function. So composite. So y prime of x will be equal y prime of x times x of t, x prime of t. Because we have taken this here to be actually x equals x x of t, which is 1 minus 9t. This is the meaning of the chain rule and the composite function. So let's find out how much is y prime of x. That is this here. That means x to the power 1 over 3 prime, which is 1 over 3x, 1 over 3 minus 1, which is 1 over 3, x minus 2 over 3. And now we have x prime of t, which is 1 minus 9t prime, which is minus 9. Now we can use the formula. Here, this formula. Here. Okay, this formula here. So y prime of x equals y prime of x is 1 over 3, but x is 1 minus 9t, so we can write 1 minus 9t, negative 2 over 3, times x prime of t, which is minus 9. So minus 9. We can simplify this. So y prime of x equals minus 3, 1 minus 9. And sorry, here is now t. Here is not anymore x, because we are substituting. Minus 2 over 3. And that's the answer. Okay, problem number 3. F of x equals e to the power minus 1 minus cosine x. Now you can write this as basically two functions. So g of x equals e to the power x. H of x equals 1 minus cosine x. So f prime of x will be e to the power 1 minus 1 minus cosine x times 1 minus cosine x, then the derivative, that is e1 minus cosine x, and this is minus sine x, and the final answer is sine x e to the power 1 minus cosine x. Okay. Question 4. This one is interesting. It says sine of z to the power 6 plus sine to the power 6 of z. Sorry, this is here. Z. Okay. So we have two functions to find the derivative. Let's call this h1 of z, h2 of z. So h1 of z is sine of z of x. h1 prime of z is cosine z to the power 6 times z to the power 6 prime. That is cosine z to the power 6. So first we, if it's easier for you, first you differentiate the sine function, so the outside function, and then you have to differentiate the inside function which is inside. Okay, times 6 z to the power 5. So that is 6 z to the power 5 cosine z to the power 6. Now h2 of z is sine to the power 6 of z, which you can write as sine of z and then everything to the power 6. Now the outside function is so to the power 6, and the function which is inside is sine z. So we can write h2 of z is 6 sine z and then 6 minus 1 times sine z prime, and that is 6 sine to the power 5z times cosine z. So the final answer f prime of z is 6z to the power 5 cosine z to the power 6 plus 6 cosine z sine to the power 5z. Okay, so those are 4 basic problems in part 1 of the chain rule, and we will see more in the next video. Thank you.